If you have an informed opinion on any given topic, then let your voice be heard. That is what we do on Express Yourself. Express Yourself is a production of the Jury University Department of Communication and the Jury University Debate Union, where we teach students the arts and skills of debating and then apply those skills in various forms of civil discourse. This week's panelists are Alexander Long, a senior from Mount Vernon, Missouri. He is majoring in psychology and plans to be a lawyer. Alex's favorite speaker of all time is Ronald Reagan. Erin Benedict is a freshman from Owasso, Oklahoma. She is majoring in history and her favorite speaker is Stephen Colbert. Austin Cassidy, a junior from Springfield, Missouri. He is majoring in multimedia production and journalism, and his favorite speaker is John F. Kennedy. And our host tonight is Emrin Link, a junior from Mount Vernon, Missouri. She is majoring in education and writing. She aims to teach 4th grade and become a published novelist.
Hi, and welcome to Express Yourself. Today, my name is Emrin Link, and I'm filling in for Charlie while he's out looking for his keys. We have a very interesting topic for you. It's whitewashing in Hollywood, and we're going to turn to our panelists first to talk about probably the issue that started this topic being discussed so widely, and that's hashtag #OscarsSoWhite, which was started by Jada Pinkett Smith. The reason for the start of it is kind of debated. Some people have said perhaps it's because her husband wasn't nominated for an Oscar, which would be kind of selfish of her, obviously. But some people have said also that it is for a valid reason. So what we're turning to the panelists today about is this a valid thing, and where can we see examples of it? So maybe we'll start with Erin.
I do think it's a valid thing. A study from UCLA actually showed that minorities are underrepresented in every aspect of Hollywood production.
And this problem originated from the very beginning of Hollywood. Some of the early movies, you have John Wayne playing Genghis Khan in 1956, and Marlon Brando as Sakini, playing a Japanese person. But you think as time would change that, Hollywood change also to where, as, social progresses have how far we've come with that. And I think some aspects of Hollywood needs to change also. Recent movies that can be looked at instead of have whitewashing would be Prince of Persia, where the lead role the Prince of Persia was played by Jack Gyllenhaal, a white American with a Swedish last name. Aloha, which has Emma Stone playing a half Asian Allison Ang, and The Gods of Egypt, which stars Gerard Butler, a Scottish guy, and Johnny Depp and Lone Ranger. These example after example show up, and these the whole problem comes down to money. Ridley Scott said in an interview with Variety that he can't get a $140 film off the ground and say his lead actor is Muhammad so-and-so from such and such. I'm just not going to get it financed. He's saying so it's difficult to get other people who have from a different ethnicity than white. It's harder to get it produced and financed.
So I have a question for you before we go on any further. You're saying that there's all these examples of this happening, and I don't disagree with that. There's obvious facts. But what I want to ask is, what is exactly the problem with this occurrence?
White people playing roles that have to do with that originate from other ethnicities. The problem lies in that it originated from with blackface and exaggerating the other people's ethnicities. Stereotypes that we see. And the problem is that it all goes back to Oscars So White, that minorities have an underrepresentation in Hollywood and films.
Well, what do you think? Do you think there's other ramifications that follow besides just that of them not being represented in the movies? Do you think there's a further, deeper ramification, or is it just that they're not able to see someone that's their exact minority ethnicity in the films?
I would say there's definitely a deeper thing with this, because children growing up are watching, the Prince of Jack Gyllenhaal playing the Prince of Persia, when you're not seeing the variety of cultures and different people out there.
Okay, sure. Aaron, do you have any thoughts on that?
I agree, and I also think it has a very negative impact on like potential actors who are minorities, because they can't get roles that they should get because Hollywood doesn't want a minority to star in their movie.
Sure. So some of the things that have been talked about since the Oscars So White campaign, if you will, is perhaps whether it's a better idea to protest the Oscars as a whole or to go ahead and create a new award show specifically for ethnic actors. So which of those two options and why do you think that they would be the best?
I think both of those options are horrible. First off, starting with just not going to the Oscars at all, I don't see really much point in that. There's no premise to do it. It doesn't seem nice. Having one that's just for different ethnicities in and of itself is racist. So we're saying, well, we're going to separate you over here, and we're going to have a white person that's the best, and then we're going to have a Hispanic person that's the best. But why look for the best in a different ethnicity when you can just try to pull it more together in the Oscars and say, okay, well, this person's the best in this, period, across ethnicities.
I absolutely agree. And another reason we shouldn't get rid of the Oscars as a whole is that it promotes films that aren't necessarily the, blockbuster Transformers, all those very popular ones. It gives good representation and incentive for filmmakers to make quality films and other things like that. So in itself, it is helpful in other regards. And I would agree the idea to have separate but equal, I mean, that's another idea that's long past what we've had and shouldn't have.
Aaron?
I agree as well. I think we should try to actually fix the problem in Hollywood rather than just making another award show. We should actually try to have more minorities represented in the Oscars and in the Hollywood industry.
Sure. So the next question I would ask you is, there has been some talk that perhaps the number of ethnic roles that have been promoted to win awards when they're played by actual people of the ethnicity is perhaps a direct representation of the amount of that ethnic group that is present in America. So there have been thoughts, basically to summarize that the number of roles you see played by these actors is directly correlated to the number of those groups in the United States of America. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's kind of ridiculous to say that if you're filming a movie about a guy in the Middle East and you get a white American to play that, I mean, there are plenty of African American actors or people or Middle Eastern actors. I mean, there's actors all over the world, and to say you can't find one actor for that one specific role is a little ridiculous to me. And it does what Ridley Scott said about the whole trouble getting financed. I mean, he put it in a little indecent way, but to say that he can't get it financed if he doesn't have a guy from the Middle East. And so it's just
so is this actually a not looking for somebody, or is it like, I know a guy who knows a guy and I owe him a favor, so I'm giving them this role? Is it that kind of thing, like behind the doors deals that is happening? That's why these people, they have connections. That's why they're getting these roles. And the minority ethnicities don't have those connections. Is that what's happening, or is it just racism?
I think it's a couple things. It probably stems from a lack of effort from the people making the movie to go out and find the proper person. I mean, it's easy to just say, well, we have the money, let's just get Tom Cruise, or let's just get this other guy that we know of. And it's probably easier to do that than it is to go on a search for the right person for the right spot.
To add on to that, I have seen arguments that they don't want to cast minority roles because they want the big name stars who are usually white. Because Will Smith, Denzel Washington, they can get more roles than other minority people. But usually roles will go to white actors who can bring in more money because they have more recognized names.
Sure, wonderful. Well, there have been some great thoughts today on this, and maybe so we can begin to wrap it up, I'll ask a final question for each of you to answer, and it's kind of a bigger one, so it might take a little longer to expound upon. But we've all sort of agreed today on this panel that this is a real issue. Whitewashing in Hollywood is a problem, and we need to perhaps do something about it. But my question for you is, can we? What can we do about this as just some students here at Drury University? What can people do within each state? Can we really even make a difference? Or is someone like Jada Pinkett Smith or a celebrity going to have to be one to make a stand and do something about it? So we'll start with Erin.
I think it will need a lot of media attention and just a lot of people protesting this and demanding for more representation.
I believe that these movies, I think people are already starting to catch on. Besides the fact that they're probably not the greatest movies, Gods of Egypt and The Lone Ranger both flopped huge at the box office. And I mean, I think as a people of this country, we should, unite together and, not go purchase or go see those films that have such blatant whitewashing in them, and just support what we believe in and don't buy things that we don't.
Sure. Alex?
I think things have already started to change, and they will continue to change as the mind of people changes, because these people that are making movies to make money, and they sell what sells. They know what we want, and they give it to us. So if we decide we want something else, they'll give us something else. I think it'll easily happen. It might take a little while, 10, 20 years, but over the time, I think we'll see a definite change in what's represented.
All right. Well, thank you, panelists, for a great job. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in today. If you'd like to see more shows like this, just go to drury.edu/debate, and there will be a video column to the side that you can select and watch more of them there. Remember, next time you have a difference of opinion on any given topic, stick to the facts, keep emotions out of it, and never make it personal. Then, when you're ready, express yourself. Thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you next time.